Hey, I know it's close to the family there, Redmar. Thank you guys so much to the panel for breaking it down. Yes, that's right. The matchup here, Team Vitality versus, of course, Team Falcons. We're kicking it off in the best of three, a spot to the playoffs here, and it's game number one. Once again, it's me, Naisu, joined with Brigida. Brigida, how are we feeling here?
Welcome to
Honestly,
Mobile
I
Legends.
told you just yesterday that I will never doubt a Selena pick once again.
Never doubt.
Regardless of the situation and regardless of the many doubters of the Akai nowadays. So I will be favoring Team Vitality's lineup for now.
Yep.
But that doesn't take away the fact that I am so excited to see this export in action.
Yeah, you know what? Turner was right on the money with that one. And it's interesting because I would say so far, I know we had the graphic early on in the day, but we've had quite a few unique hero picks already. I mean, think about how many matches have been played, how many heroes have come to light in the competition. And I would say that these teams that we've seen have already kind of shown us a lot of the play styles and the strategies that they can bring to the table here. Real quick, looking at the emblems, you have a lot of your basics going here. Of course, you got a lot of the hybrid builds going on too. Now you have a Melissa once again.
Yeah.
Over here for Team Falcons, and that could actually be really well. And I mean, think about it, the Claude, like we saw yesterday, the Savage.
And this is a pull yourself together, Melissa. Like
It is.
names. And we all know for a fact that the Inspire does not only benefit you in terms of the damage, right? It can also help you somehow sustain the fights a little longer and somehow extend your life if you need to find a way to survive, but also that needs you to guarantee that there are targets nearby. And that's the tricky thing. Like, where do you position your doll? Where do you put the eyes on you so you ensure that you can actually survive? But speaking of survive, will Velvet be able to survive? Because it seems like it's a no. City gets first blood, and Vivian, tries to escape, but unfortunately will have to take the last insanity. Two members are down, or 1-for-1 trade so far for both of these teams.
A great response from Team Falcons. They just gotta watch out for the arrows, but it is gonna be an objective secured for Team Vitality. So yes, as you mentioned, the trade there, the 1-for-1. But you know, one thing for sure, Team Falcons, these ladies have been playing together for quite some time already. The synergy is clear, and they've done a lot of work to go ahead and improve their gameplay over, you know, the countless months, if not years, that they've been together. So it's a true test, I would say, to see how they match up against the macro of a team like Team Vitality, who has been known, you know, just to be quite dominant, obviously, in the competitive scene. So this lineup, though, if we really break it down, like you mentioned a couple times too, Names has to get online on the Melissa. That can be really helpful later on. A little early action too, just from Velvet being kind of that bully on the Phoveus here.
Yeah, I also think that Team Falcons, with their lineup, they have like several ways to somehow work around or punish Team Vitality if ever they make some errors in trying to make these combos work. The Arlot, Akai. I know it's not that guaranteed just yet. You have to be very precise in terms of how you make use of these skills so that you can get the full potential. And Team Falcons, they have a lot of movement speed, so they may be able to capitalize on that. But hold on, Velvet. This is an Esmeralda we're talking about, and the Phoveus in the matchup of the EXP lane, so they have to be a little more careful. Oh no, Velvet's forced to retreat. This is something inevitable, you know? Like, the Esmeralda Phoveus matchup is something you definitely expect.
Kind of have to wait for that too, and that's one thing I was wondering is specifically for Yui, you know, the Valentina, I feel like has a very specific point in a lot of these lineups, and I think part of the choice is, as you see, she's holding on to the heavy spin right now from Vival. It's like, what ultimate are you going to take for this situation? Because that can change as the game goes on. And even down to the final slash could be helpful. Fumi Echo, I don't think you want to fight an Esmeralda, to be honest. Like, it's just one of those heroes that you have to commit a lot to take out an Esmeralda. So they go ahead and rotate down to this objective. Second turtle of the game is going to be up. Team Falcons wants to go ahead, and it looks like they want to contest it.
Yeah, full ultimates are intact for both of these teams. Whether or not who decides to go first, that is going to be the question, because it seems like they're just trying to wait for the perfect opportunity for now. But they have enough vision though. Another Abyssal Arrow might not land.
Okay, that's not going to land. They're going to hold it. Once again, Names will make her way now to the fight. Meanwhile, Shell's still holding on to the bottom. She's going to clear the wave, and this is going to break out.
Unfortunately, it lands on Sunlight, and that's the Faraga armor immediately taken out. Vivian, though, might just be punished by Velvet, but there seems to be the perfect heavy spin to deny them of that. Sunlight gets taken out, and there's the flicker from the other members of Team Falcons just to make it out alive. The Abyssal Arrow does not connect. Velvet trying her best, but that seems like a win for Team Vitality.
Oh, is Velvet going to stay here? I mean, she might get caught out. She's going to deal with Fumi Echo now, so forcing out. The wave going to be dropped, and Turtle is secured. So she'll get out with the Guiding Wind. And they just get kind of pushed off. Names could be in trouble.
Oh, Vival! Okay. Names did not see that coming.
You can't, yeah. Unfortunately, no go away there.
Oh, wow. Imagine that. Even mid-air.
Mid-air with the Guiding Wind.
I mean, this is so unfortunate, though, for Team Falcons, because they drafted this way only to encounter an Esmeralda in the hands of Fumi Echo, which they seemingly want to try to take down now, but it doesn't feel like they have the resources that can do just that for now.
Yeah, for the answer for the Esmeralda really is you kind of have to deal with the sustainability. We're talking about the Sea Halberds, maybe the Dominance Ice later on, but then just kind of overloading the damage, and they just don't have that right now. They fight under the turret.
Final Slash, and Vivian here might just be punished. Oh, the counter Final Slash coming in from Yui to finally take that kill. Sunlight might still go for this though. Another Abyssal Arrow from City, Falling Star Moon, but the Guiding Wind saves Sunlight from danger.
Even with this save, they're not out of it just yet. Another arrow. Oh, she's going to have to cancel that recall. They keep her there long enough, though.
They're still fighting, and they're under the turret, but you understand. Their HP, it's very, very low. Yui's already here, though, but Vival will be she's still trying to attempt for this. They might have to let go of this turret, but Vivin still goes in. Now Fumi Echo might just take her out. Yui also next. 2 heavy spins. Where am I supposed to look at?
Beyblade.
It seems like the fight is still going, however, and look at the damage from Chell with a blazing duet. Names cannot survive.
Oh, that is tough. That was such a long hold under the turret that they couldn't escape. And it was a great play from Team Vitality to keep them there, delay them from recalling while the team came up, capitalized on the kill, and now it's all led to this. You're looking at a 4K gold lead. You're seeing the difference here now between the lanes. Specifically, you can see there's quite a lead in that gold lane. Yeah. And that's why, again, the Claude is it's something you don't want to let get that faster power spike in terms of the items, because once that happens, you're just kind of free to go in, blazing duet on out, and get out of there. And think about the space coverage with this Claude from Shell, because you have a flicker too. So that works in conjunction with the BMI. Get a little more space to work with. There's a Final Slash.
Remember, Final Slash though, but gets cancelled by that Circling Eagle. Vivian flickers out to safety, but Shell, does she still want to fight this? Maybe not, but Fumi Echo has a different plan in mind. Falling Star Moon towards the back line, still tries to go for Velvet and Names. Last Insanity to try and get away, but look at Fumi Echo all alone, taking on every single member from Team Falcons, and look at the heavy spin catching too! Team Falcons, they have to run away. This is just too much from Team Vitality.
Team Vitality finding the choke points here every single time, and it's up to Team Falcons to go in, come up with an adjustment from that. It's really difficult because of just how much you have to consider. We have to dodge these arrows coming through. We have to watch out for Vivian to make a play with a Final Slash and that flicker. But then in the meantime, you can even get pinned down with an Akai. We're going to look at the replay here. And this is, look at Fumi Echo, able to get the attention. Lots of low health bars here. They cut off the right members. And unfortunately for Team Falcons, once that happens, you don't have much room to move. You can see them in the jungle too, continuing to try to take and put pressure on Team Falcons. So Lord was taken, it was secured. Again, you're looking at a relatively healthy lead, at 7,000 almost gold here.
Oh my gosh.
And even the items, you know, this is what I was saying. That third item, there it is. It's just picked up now. You've got the trinity of items for the Claude in the hands of Shell. So that Blazing Duet, it's going to be trouble. Arrows too. I mean, just an arrow alone.
And that's half HP already for the damage dealer for Names, who by the way isn't looking too good. 0-3-1 on this Melissa, but even more than that, I think most of the space creators here for Team Falcons are having a hard time. The Abyssal Arrows just disrupt so much, especially Sunlight.
Yep.
It feels like she can't get a hold of her Firaga armor because it's always taken out, and now they have to worry about the Lord. Yet another Abyssal Arrow and trap. Driven is forced to go away, reset and recall to the base. But now, it seems like they are able to take the first inhibitor turret with just this Lord! There's the last, or there's the Firaga armor taken out once again. Fumi Echo finally gets punished though. And Team Vitality might respect Team Falcons and their defense for now.
They have to. A great defense there. They only lose the base turret. Again, that was only the first Lord, but Team Falcons showing some promise here on the defense. You're seeing it happen here live, right? The problem is these arrows that are coming and just kind of putting pressure on where you can really move around the base even. And when it comes down to earlier the lanes, you always have to watch out for the arrows because you're seeing it. And it's crazy because City only has 2 items. Enchanted Talisman and the Glowing Wand right now.
Yeah.
What more as the game goes on? She's still building up onto that 3rd item, but still you're seeing the angles are the problems for Team Falcons, and that's kind of why I think the work is also cut out for Yui. She's held on to the heavy spin a lot of the times. We've seen her take a final slash, but this is all, once again, Names has to get online. She still needs some time. She's falling behind. She's got the DHS and the Corrosive Scythe. She needs to get that 3rd item to really be able to do, pop up. Oh no, under the turret.
Yui gets forced to use that heavy spin, which she copied earlier. The Abyssal Arrows again and again. Such a huge problem for Team Falcons right now. And yes, we did mention that somehow Names, she really does need to go online. There's the Inspire, which we thought could have potentially helped her survive a little longer whenever there are certain situations wherein she needs to get out alive. But it seems like the burst damage from Team Vitality at this point is just too much. And what's scary to think about is that, you mentioned it, that's only 2 items so far from Chinny, and the Lethal Ignition 2 is a separate thing to worry about. What if you step on something when you're low HP, right?
Yeah, that's troublesome.
That's such a huge problem.
This Lord, half health though, but they've got total control for Team Vitality. That's going to be another objective secured. So Team Falcons looking at the defense here. Can they pull it off as this one's going to be charging into the base? You know, this is where you have to see. And realistically, it's actually, for a Melissa, defending in the base is probably the best position to be in because you have your go away to go ahead and utilize, but also you have Fiven on the Matilda, which could get you out of a bad position, and you don't have to worry too much about what's going to happen from behind you because it's your base, right? You got the base, you got the fountain there to help you out, but still, the work is going to be difficult. They have to withstand the Blazing Duet setup and the rest of this from Team Vitality, so we'll see how they handle it.
Sunlight! There's the Guiding Wind to save her, but there's the Firaga armor already gone, and they still have to defend the Lord. Mid inhibitor turret is already down, and look at the Blazing Duet too coming from Gel. Names is immediately taken out, the one expected to defend, and I feel like this might just be it. Team Vitality take game number 1.
It'll be Team Vitality to go ahead and get the first blood in the series. Once again, 1 step closer for them to get to the playoffs. And it was that Blazing Duet that at the end, they knew they had it set up. She had the advantage in terms of items, and what a place to go ahead and set things up for that. The health bars, unfortunately from Team Falcons, just got melted there in that last exchange.
You know you're just that much ahead when the Claude goes in first and is not afraid at all, even when they're just right in front of the base of Team Falcons. And so it came to a point where, compared to the first Melissa we saw this day, this didn't work out as expected for them just yet, but definitely they could find a way.
They could. I know our panel's going to have a lot to say. Let's go ahead and throw it to them.
Thank you so much, Naisu and Brigida, and a fantastic showing by both of these 2 teams, but unsurprisingly, the last 2 picks were the absolute kickers there for Team Vitality. The Claude especially just tore through the formation of Team Falcons.
See, I don't know what's going on here, right? Because it's either Team Falcons are playing in a way that they stick to their comforts, so it gets really heavily exploited by Team Vitality, or they had a different kind of strategy in mind, right? Because they knew for a fact that, all right, Names has utilized the Melissa in the gold lane a million times, and obviously we saw in Names was falling so far behind of the Claude. It was very difficult lane for her. So in the very end, when we saw Falcons' successful games yesterday, they weren't able to achieve that because Names was not given any moment to come online.
I mean, the fact that they talked about it, they want to actually keep up with the drafting that they've done. They want to make sure that they want to show off that, hey, we have a lot of hero pools. But again, if you keep on using the same thing, and which I've already talked yesterday, yes, it is a 50-50 situation. Sometimes you can't always use the same draft over and over again, and your teams or your opponent will be able to read you like a book.
Yeah, Shell, I think one of the biggest reasons as to why she dealt so much damage against Names in lane is because she picked up the Master Assassin as her key pickup there for her emblem set. Of course, that strengthens your capability to one-on-one in lane, especially when you're already on a hero that will win in lane.
She knew it. She was like, I know what I was made for. I'm going to dominate this lane, and that's exactly what we saw reflected. And you know, in hindsight, we were talking about the X-Borg pick earlier on, and obviously we did see the adaptations that the X-Borg could do against the Akai in neutral objective takes, but the way that Team Vitality were playing around, the way that they were team fighting around these neutral objectives, we really didn't see the advantage of the X-Borg in the jungle.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at the items. Only got up to the DHS and the corrosion side. Full build there for Shell. By the end of it all, close to a 4,000 in the gold lead, and lacking a little bit of utility. I know there's not a lot of old school healing per se, but there is still some health regen on the side of Vitality that you needed to deal with. And at the end, it was only the glowing wand that they had to deal with that. They couldn't get the dominance Isis up there.
And the worst part that you know that they were prioritized coming in from the healing side. What they didn't expect it, the pick from Cine itself. Selena, always on point with the Abyssal Arrow, always getting to capture. Yes, you have that last insanity. The moment you're trying to move away, at the end of it all, that Abyssal Arrow say that I'm gonna stun you and you can't get away from us.
And that's why her build was actually quite interesting. She actually went in for the, is it Wishing Lantern?
Yes.
Is what it's called, right? She understands that in this particular scenario, sure, getting Nays would be amazing. But the fact that she was able to get Velvet at times, Sunlight down at times, and even Feven at some times really did kind of stifle the Ube strategy that Team Falcons really wanted to implement in game number 1.
All right, so it seems like that seems to be a ongoing trend here in Stream A, where sometimes you cannot fight too honestly in the Land of Dawn, wherein you have a clear progression of how you want team fights to go. You can't just fully depend on that slow front to back, which the lineup of Falcons actually, they need to fight that way. So here comes Vitality with 2 picks that are so mobile and can be so surprising in the Selena that Pasha Bunny mentioned, and of course the Claude that we've been highlighting. So really, those 2 picks right there in the end is what just delivered the felling blow for Falcons. They definitely could have played this to victory, but it would just be way too difficult.
But yeah, I mean, talking about the fact that Team Falcon was trying to... Don't be laughing, okay?
No, I'm good here.
Oh, you're right here, okay. Going into Team Falcons itself, the fact that we know the Team Falcons was just trying to do their best and they had that last strike itself. Xbox, their last hope, they really heavily depended on the usage of last insanity so that they can have that build up, that initiation. And not only that, to a point that even though, yes, they were also looking forward for Melissa to get that power spike, it was just not enough.
And the thing is, technically we did see the X-Borg really pop off in the early game, I would say.
Yeah.
There were a lot of moments there, okay, fine, maybe neutral objective takes wasn't as strong, but they were able to trade really well, right? The last Insanity was used to, you know, kind of take down the final members of Vitality. We saw the trades coming through, but Team Vitality's adaptations in the game are incredibly crazy. I can't. The way that they knew, all right, Team Falcons with this lineup, with the Matilda, they know that they want to go for team fights. They're going to play as 5. So we talked about the last 2 picks coming through, but I want to really talk about how Fumi Echo utilized the Esme. Really great, going to the back line, looking for the sandwich plays. Even Vival on the Akai, opening things up, getting those opportunities down. And that's MLBB gameplay, man.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes that's, especially when you're talking about a team like Vitality, as much as you want to like put a lot of rationale to it and then you piece everything together, there's at some point where you just have to let out a sigh of going like, well, yep.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, exactly.
And the fact that this is the question that I was asking previously, where yes, they picked up Xbot last, right? And then Valentina, more in depth about the Valentina, they were trying to get the ulti for the heavy spin, but I don't see that keeping or able to actually achieve for their own method or even what they wanted to actually portray here when it comes to the first match itself.
Exactly. And because of everything that we've discussed so far, it falls back to something that actually you mentioned earlier, Fasha Bunny. They were lacking in that desperately needed mid-game power spike. They could have gotten it if they were winning, but coming from behind, it's incredibly difficult to achieve against a lineup that Vitality had, and especially since they had their X Factor doing the thing she does best, which is, I will play my own game, and then I'll show up when you need me. Fumi Echo definitely deserves to be highlighted here. I gotta agree with the turnout. That Esmeralda. Now, again, we go back to how Fumi Echo plays. I've seen enough of her gameplay, and it's always like, Fumi Echo, you are your own entity. Do what you have to do in lane, but show up when we need you. And those late entries by the Esmeralda in the mid-game trading that we were talking about earlier, usually it was actually Fumi Echo that became the X-Factor turnaround reason.
And that's just chemistry, right? It all boils down to chemistry. Like, they already know. Fumi Echo will get to a point where she's going to start to get to that power spike on the Esmeralda. You saw the Oracle built up, and I think there was an enchanted talisman, I believe. See, my memory is kind of bad, but that aside, she knew exactly when to weave in and weave out in these team fights. She knew exactly in that particular scenario that we actually see up on screen. She goes actually quite heavily into the backline. She's actually really far away from the rest of the team, but she knows exactly that the rest of the members of the team will come along and take those kills with her.
Yeah. All right. So we've spent a good enough amount of time talking about Vitality and what they did great in that game number 1. But to potentially talk about the possibilities of a Team Falcons turnaround, maybe we have to take more time to learn about them.
I can describe our Team Falcons as fierce.
Gonna go in, Velvet unable to catch him with a vengeance now. Able to use the final slash, Venus Fury knocking him up as well in the midst of the Lord electrifying.
Last year was very hard for us. We were eliminated from the group stage with 0 wins. But it was a really great experience and we learned a lot from it. I want my team to be remembered as fighters. We want to make history.
They want to be remembered as fighters, and they are going to have to put up the fight of their lives here if they want a chance to push into game number 3. Now, I'm going to say something here and tell me what you guys think. I feel like in that game number 1, there actually really wasn't a lot of Team Falcons errors to point out. More so, it was just there's just significantly more Team Vitality good things to point out.
I agree.
To a certain extent.
But I feel like the weaknesses of Team Falcons are starting to show, and having a coach like Coach Casius, he's going to be able to sniff that out real quick. And why do I bring the coach into this? It's because of the drafts. I hope coming to game number 2 and after everything we've seen from Team Falcons so far, they have a different strategy in mind, because they can't repeat the same thing that they did yesterday, because they've been read like a book here in game number 1 by Vitality.
All right, so it seems like both of you are on the same boat now, wherein we're going to have to see a different version of Team Falcons now for this game number 2, where, yes, they've talked about their strengths in the Ube strategy healing meta, but maybe they need to show more. Velvet has said here they are not afraid of losing, and that is their advantage against other teams. They've lost a lot already, they know how it feels, but they're not scared, and they're just going to go out there and do their best. So doing their best, Fasha, does that mean, really, they forgo the healers and they go for something completely different now?
I mean, if they have been months and months trying to actually perfect the Ube draft, possibly they would not let it go. But if it comes to desperate measure, yeah, you have to actually let it go. And that's the thing that you want to actually put out here in MWI. You have to be adaptive. You have to always make sure that if the situation doesn't go your way, you got to change it around.
And I'm gonna say something like really might be a hot take, but Blacklist's code was broken. And that's why, like, people know exactly how to counter it. So coming into this, obviously there is always lessons to be learned from previous teams, especially, you know, Blacklist, that was like an undefeated era for them, right? But eventually it broke. And it's breaking now. So Team Falcons, if you want to secure your first ticket to the knockouts here, you gotta cook up something different.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you actually brought up Blacklist and their Uber strategy here, because Coach Koba himself of Falcons did say he was inspired by the M3 World Championships and the strategies that Blacklist showed there. That's why they decided to lean in on this idea that healing sustain is the way to go right now. It worked out for them in their previous match, but Team Vitality are a whole different beast, and this is a whole different draft. Badang, Selena, Kimi, they are respecting the Selena of Cine. Do you think this is the right call here, Fasha?
I mean, yeah, definitely. They know for a fact that Selena, that Abizarro was not able to even avoid, and they trying to make sure that at least they won't be able to have that, they won't be stuck in the ground by the fact of Vitality itself and be able to move the mobility device. But the thing is, yeah, you talked about how Team Falcons maybe have less to more error to their own side of the drafting, maybe their own mistakes that was done in the game itself. But for me, I do think the only simple error is that Valentina could have been another pick. There could have been a lot of mages. There's a lot of mid lanes that could be done. You don't need to worry much about the heavy spin itself, right?
Yes. No, I completely agree. Sorry, I was blindsided with this early 1-1 pick. Boys, girls, 1-1 pick without the Irithel banned out.
Yeah, they are playing with a lot of fire right now. Irthel's open, Farsa's open, all the heroes that can give a lot of difficulty for the 1-1 are open.
Even Phobius is open.
Yeah. And so that means Team Falcons, that might already be them showing that they are definitely still going to be leaning into that slow front-to-back play style where they're probably going to end up with someone who can provide some form of healing. Maybe a Minotaur is going to show up for them at some point.
And the fact that, look at this, they're giving the opportunity for Vitality, right, to get, again, Carlot, and Akai was also being picked up. But now they got Barats because they were denied immediately of having Barats, and they also have CC to be picked out.
I smell lack of hero pool for Sunlight. The fact that they're prioritizing Sunlight's hero here in the first phase, I think she might have not been as comfortable on the X-Borg, which is why we're seeing that come through. They pick up the CC, I think, just in case Vitality go for the Phobius, so it's a little bit of a deny, making sure that, hey, if you want to pick up the Phobius to kind of tackle our 1-1, that's fine, we'll just destroy you in lane in the EXP lane. So now Team Vitality are caught in a crossroads. What do they want to go for? I think Irithel is still the best bet if they want to shut down the 1-1 in the lane.
Yeah. Maybe this Barrett's pick, though, is sort of like a warning signal to Vitality. Like, okay, you want to pick the Irithel, but then will you have enough damage to deal with something like the Barats? And Vitality says, yeah, we'll definitely have enough damage to deal with the Barats. They still pick up the Irithel. Farsa is still on the board here for Vitality. If they want to go for something actually incredibly surprising, but makes sense considering they're up against the Barats and CC. Even the Eve as a surprise mid lane pickup might be a possibility here for Cine, Fasha.
And the fact that they're definitely going to actually cut out even more hero pools, right? And we've seen already the pattern coming in from the team of Falcons itself. It seems like this is where we see the fine line of how much of strats they have and how much hero they are comfortable to use. Because again, they're so already consistent and focused to actually get the Enchantress, but how much more can you actually put out if you're being denied? And looking on the side of Vitality, they actually take out Angela first of all, and on the side of Team Falcon, they took out Jushin.
Yeah, Angela Barats is kind of gross, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot of sustain in the early game, and technically with the composition that we're looking at from Team Vitality, they don't exactly have enough damage, I would say, to kind of penetrate through that in the early stages. So good call. I think there's still a possibility for them to pick up something like the Matilda to help out the Barats. We're maybe even looking at a Florin as an option, but obviously I don't think that the Estes will do too great here going against the Akai as well as the Arlet.
Yeah.
Going back to the Farsa, I would think that maybe even Vitality would want to ban it away from Team Falcons. Typically, it would be a really good pick to deny the Irithel.
So they still ban out the Matilda. I actually agreed with you there on the Farsa, thinking that maybe that could have been a surprise possibility for themselves. However, they still are leaning into the safer side. The Farsa, again, is going to be a great option for Sydney if they want to. Either the Farsa or the Eve. They ban out the Lancelot, so interesting choice. It feels like Falcons know something that we don't, because we're already automatically assuming that Akai is going into the jungle, right? But it seems like Falcons have gone into the possibility that the Akai could have actually gone to the roam for Vivian instead.
I mean, we've seen it in the XP lane, right? So it's a triple flex in some regards. I think there's an argument to be made that maybe the Akai doesn't do as well in different lanes. Obviously, Lancelot is a huge power pick for FIFA, so they're opening that up as a possibility. One of the main reasons why I didn't consider the Farsa for Team Vitality is because there's so much dive coming through from the side of Team Falcons against the CC and the Barats, but okay, Farsa comes through, like you mentioned.
All right, so I feel like you can tell Falcons really wants the healing, but right now they gotta have to. They're sort of forced to play something different here.
I mean, the fact that probably they think that they're very confident enough that they want to still pick up that healing process. They know that they're even talking about how who's the strongest or who actually lasts the longest can win it. But the question is if it's going to be enough. Now, they picked out Zetian. Actually, that's a better mage or mid laner to be picked out, especially after we see from the first dress itself. I mean, yeah, got a lot of stun, got a lot of even CC for themselves. But the question is, Minotaur, you've already predicted it. Again, giving up to the side of Renmar.
Yeah. Okay, so they still really wanted the healing, but they needed something literally beefier in the front line. So they pick up the Minotaur, usually seen up against Arlots and Akais. So now what's the last pick here for Fumi Echo? Oh, excuse me, no. Supposedly, right, because the Arlot is a flex.
That's why. Are we looking at a jungle pick here for Team Vitality? I mean, right now there is a lot of beefy boys. Do they want to be the ones to pick up something with a lot more percent damage?
So maybe they're gonna swerve some things around and actually go assassin?
There you go. That's what I was thinking. Percent damage. X4.
Oh, so that's what you meant. True damage.
Yeah, true damage. There you go.
All right. Okay, real quick, Fasha Bunny, what did you think about that last pick?
I mean, I was like wondering, is this the way how Team Vitality say, like, I'm going to show you how you use Xbox to the side of Team Falcons?
Oh, yeah, that's a good possibility. Like, let me show you how it's done. Let's see what's going to happen. Falcons versus Vitality. Game number 2. Let's toss you on over to Naisu and Brigida to call the action.
Thank you so much, Renmar. You got it. The panel, you got the draft. And for both of us, me and Brigida, I think we can go ahead and say who we think has the better draft here. What do you think, Brigida?
Oh wait, my mic was...
It was up.
Oh my
You're
head,
good,
okay.
You're good.
I'd say this is gonna be the moment where Akai starts redeeming himself. So I'm gonna go for Team Vitality again. Develop the Akai paired up with the Arlot. They are definitely gonna make things so much difficult for Sunlight. If earlier they keep on denying the Firaga armor, this time around they have true damage to respond to the Barats and all the passes that can come in later on.
Well, once again, it's match point here for Team Vitality. Will they get to the playoffs? If they end up just taking this win, they'll definitely get to the playoffs if they end up winning here. But Team Falcons, can they make it to Game 3? I'd love to see it. This lineup is sort of reminiscent of what we've been talking about, especially after yesterday, where they like to play that sustainability lineup. Wow, Velvet taking a couple shots, but you know, this time around, I think the panel really mentioned it well. They want that healing. They want to be able to drag those fights out and win in the sustainability department, but they need a little more tankiness, you know, and they go with the Minotaur here. You can see, too, looking at the emblems, they've got that. There's a whole lot of tank emblems. Of course, the Concussive Blast. You get a little of that extra durability with the firmness for Vivian here. So the healing is going to be crucial, but That's why I think even the X-Borg was such a crucial pick.
Yeah.
Because you know that most likely Team Falcons, they want to fight around that Minoan Fury, get that knock up into the air. But if you can fight them with a Farsa, who's got the circular feathered airstrike, but then an X-Borg as well, you deal with a lot of that. And then you throw in the Arlot's final slash. There's just a whole lot to deal with some of that setup potential that comes from Team Falcons.
Because even looking at the emblems of the damage dealers, both Chell and Cine, they definitely are looking to go for the burst, to provide the burst damage, which will make that sustain or those attempts towards sustaining the team fights a lot more difficult for Team Falcons later on. But hold on, it seems like Fumi Echo will experience the exact same thing Sunlight has been consistently experiencing in game number 1. Right now, she's the one without the Brag armor.
Yep, fight for the turtle. This is a good one for Team Falcons to take if they can get it here.
Oh,
we'll see if they get it.
Still doesn't have the final slash though. Then jumps in, however, and Fumi Echo together with the Curtain Call could only do so much, but still Vival gets the retribution and Sunlight falls. They also take out Velvet and they don't even get to trade out a single member from Team Vitality.
Now they didn't get to trade out. A couple kills on objective, and it looks like they're going to be able to take the buff too. That is tough because, again, you're sitting here thinking, man, you know, Team Falcons with that, they should be able... Oh, don't Names.
Oh, okay. How does... Oh, so fortunately, Names was able to avoid some of those vengeances, some of those skills from Vivian, because if not, that felt like another potential casualty.
Yeah, we're going to look at the instant replay here. This is what happens. I mean, the fight is extended, but it's actually in favor of Team Vitality with how they approach this fight. There's going to be a feathered airstrike that comes down here too. They capitalize on getting the turtle. Fumi Echo stays alive, and then they're able to actually get the right members separated from the team fight to make it happen.
I feel like if the... wait, hold on, Velvet? Okay. I feel like if the Fury of the Phoenix was used a little later, it could have stopped Vival from actually getting close to the turtle. But Vival was already able to cast the heavy spin nonetheless, so I feel like it was something Team Falcons could have just tried to avoid, but not entirely. Okay.
Use that retribution, because you know, again, she didn't. That was the angle that Vival was going to look for. Collapse down towards Names, but so far, pretty much just reset at this point. There was a lot of attention down in the gold lane, and I think, you know, once again, we always kind of play that part where it's like, man, these gold laners, Names gets the flicker out.
All right, that was a fast response from Cine to avoid the stacks of the crossbow of Tang, but then Team Falcons already know that there's no flicker available for Cine towards the next objective, so she could be a potential target unless Team Vitality start the aggression in as early as now. The purple buff is denied away from Sunlight.
That Vivian final slash right there to just kind of swoop it towards them. The fight, though, for the turtle, at least Sunlight still has the retribution, so they might be able to secure this turtle for them, but still, they have to watch out. They know they don't have to watch out for a final slash, at least. So Fumi Echo has the armor. She'll go ahead and back off. Flickers out defensively. Oh, Daytona's welcome.
It's used onto Vival, but there's the response. It's another heavy spin as well, and look at them targeting Fumi Echo from behind Velvet. The damage is not enough just yet, however, and now she will be the first to get taken out. Chell joins the team fight, heavy crossbow, and forces out the flicker from Vivian. This seems like another free objective for Team Vitality.
Oh, that's an objective they definitely fought for. They end up getting it, so another turtle in the hands of Team Vitality. And it was so close. I mean, Velvet was so close to getting at least a kill there on Fumi Echo, but she still survived. Shao could be in trouble here. Names?
Oh, there's a better airstrike, but it seems like the crossbow of Tang will still make it. There is no way Chell gets to survive that. Vivian trades out Names, however, but might get traded out too. 3 members trying to chase after Vivian, and that's going to be the kill going towards Yui.
There you go. Team Falcons picks up a couple kills. Again, quite risky and decisive for Names to go ahead and go for that fight, but she got the airtime. She got the crossbow of Tang off, and then, unfortunately, she goes down. But at least, right, at least they get something here. That gold lead was already starting to build up, so you definitely want to get what you can against a team like Team Vitality and Team Falcons. You can see, once again, the difference in terms of the gold lane.
What?
Oh no, Velvet.
Solo kill.
That's a solo kill, man. That is not, it's not looking like a good kind of experience for Velvet right now on the CC. It's just really difficult to deal with this because there's a reason why the X-Borg works so well, and like our panel said, you want that true damage, you pick up the X-Borg.
And honestly, I feel like even though we see Fumi Echo without the Firaga armor a lot of times,
Look at the damage Fumi Echo's doing.
yeah, it's not the same as how Sunlight just gets to be put on such a disadvantage whenever she loses the Firaga armor, because Fumi Echo, if ever she does lose out on the Firaga armor, she gets to force out so many things from Team Falcons. But speaking of forcing out so many things, names get bursted down, and look at the heavy spin locking in Vivid. 2 members immediately taken out from Team Falcons. They couldn't even fight back.
They couldn't get back. Again, this is one of the promising things about an Akai, and right now in the current meta, like you mentioned earlier, Brigida, that ability to just be a threat as an Akai, and then you're like, I don't want to get locked down under a turret with a heavy spin and zoned out with the feathered airstrikes, and that's what we see here. Vivel comes in and just locks down the right members, and it's just an overloaded experience. Now in the mid lane, that's actually the same thing happening here. They're putting pressure on that tier 1. They don't have the wave to push in just yet, but still, anytime Vivian has that final slash, they can actually decide to start any fight that they want to, and it looks like they're going to do that.
Right.
The wave's now pushing this tier 1 turret.
Okay, there's a flicker from Vivian. Oh, but Vivian goes in first, only knocks out Vivian though. The other members of Team Vitality just walk away
what is
from the
Names
middle
gonna do?
Fury. Oh, okay.
Okay, she's going to back off. That's, again, I don't know if she wanted to possibly go for what she did minutes ago. Ends up going for that kill, but ultimately will back off. She still needs plenty of time to go ahead and build up. The rest of the team as well. You got the Flask of the Oasis now in the hands of Fiven. So she got that. She has that to help with some of the healing here.
You did say that Fumi Echo had the highest damage earlier, right?
Yeah, she
But
had.
that isn't even using the Warak's first item.
Yeah.
So it's scary to think that Team Vitality are just this much ahead of Team Falcons. Almost 5K, but you could already feel how dominant they're playing this game.
Yeah, again, this is one of the things about Xborg, the ability to get that last insanity off, you know, kind of literally cook people and then get the true damage off. So this is an objective secured. They are dominating in terms of the objectives, and it looks like Team Falcons will just have to get what they can. They'll get the tier 1 turret on the top down. They will be forced to respond to this Lord push. That's going to be happening. They still hold on to that middle turret, at least for now. But I think the biggest question here, Brigida, is are they ready to fight? Because the fight's going to be brought to them, and they have no choice but to go ahead and respond to it. You can see this, you know, Cine does have respectable damage. Final slash from Velvet. He's going to pop the Vengeance, though. They want to take this turret down, and that they will. Oh, Mieko now.
The Daytona's welcome. It didn't.
Oh, under the
They weren't
turret.
able to use it just yet, and they were bursted down immediately by Fumi Echo.
Oh.
Minoan Fury as a response together with the Fury of the Phoenix. Names gets taken out, however, and Vivian escapes death. Now that's 2 consecutive turrets they might just take down, but they lost the minions, but this might just be the time.
2 members down, Wave still pushing in, plus the Lord on the bottom side. They'll take the buff, and Team Vitality might look for more. The shields are still up here. Vivian's trying to hold that down, but it's just quite a bit of damage still they have to respect. That Lord still making its way. They already got the shield in the mid. Now the bottom turret going to be the focus here as that is popped as well. Not sure if Team Vitality wants to do much. It's not like they can force this fight because there is no flicker too from Vivian. So they'll just have to have it cleared out. They got 2 of the shields. They might get a 3rd.
Yeah.
But right now Team Falcons should be able to defend against the rest of this push.
Yep. Because majority of the playmaking
Oh, no,
is
Sunlight.
going to be Vivian, but Sunlight, look at the damage coming in from Team Vitality. And the heavy crossbow from Chell, taking out Velvet all alone in the top lane, and now they gain access to the top inhibitor turret.
That's just how much damage output Shell's able to put out. And Yui could be in trouble too. She does pop the Fury of the Phoenix.
But Chell gets to touch even that. Like, not even with a sprint, literally just walked away. So now with consecutive waves coming in, Team Vitality, they might attempt to force this.
Oh, look at this. Look at that. A couple hits on Names, and Names has no choice but to go heal back up.
Oh, the stun and the final slash. There's the Minion Fury knocking up members from Team Vitality, but look at the damage from the last Insanity. It's a double kill from Fumi Echo, picking up the Immortality just now. And it seems like Team Vitality, they're not allowing Vivian to go down just like that, and they go after Velvet too, making it a triple for Chell.
Man, they know they have nowhere to go, but the rest of the team will follow through and be there for them.
It seems like for the first time today in Stream A, Team Vitality, they'll be handing us a sweep against Team Falcons.
And that's a dominant sweep here from Team Vitality, moving on to the playoffs here. A little bit of quicker game 2. But again, as always, soaring higher here, showcasing just how much they have in terms of synergy and just knowing each other's playstyle. I mean, for the fact that your gold laner is just jumping forward and taking members down, even solo, is something you want to watch out for. And that's why also Irithel is so strong right now in the current meta.
There were times that you just saw the Irithel being the one in the front of the team fight. Because
she's got the bike, I guess, you know?
And how does Team Falcons respond to that? If even the gold laner gets to position herself wherever she wants because she doesn't need to worry about anyone, doesn't need to worry about any sort of burst damage, and they have full vision and information as to where Team Falcons